We'll just be us. It's not, and it won't be pretty. Hi, everybody. So I hope everyone's having a good day or morning or whenever you happen to watch this. I hope it's a good that. It's morning for us right now. This is when we're doing it. Clearly, we both look like we're really awake right now. Yeah, ready to go.
I've already had 2 cups of coffee.
What? I didn't have.
You haven't had any?
Total mistake on my part.
Yeah, how are you functioning?
I did push-ups and a cold shower. It's part of my morning routine. Coffee would be nice though. Yeah, it's a morning. I'm trying it out. I'm gonna just Tony Robbins does stuff like that, and he's $60 billion a year or $6 billion a year. It's like.
And your favorite person.
Huh?
And he's your favorite person.
I don't know if he's my favorite person. He's very inspirational and definitely a role model. I think Jim Carrey is my favorite person right now.
So tell me why Jim Carrey is your favorite person right now.
He's just, he's accomplished a tremendous amount, and he's always been one of my favorite actors, and he's gotten to a level where he broke through to the other side, I guess, in a way. We're all fighting, and as he says, trying to add to ourselves with the things that we do in the first half of our life, and then you get to a point where you realize that you can't do that, and none of that stuff really matters or is important. The interviews and the things that he talks about at this point in his life just resonate with me in a big way. A lot of that stuff doesn't matter. I mean, of course, it'd be nice to be able to say that from a place of having hundreds of millions of dollars and a ton of really successful movies that are paying you residuals all the time, so you don't have to worry about that stuff. But in the bigger sense of things, it doesn't matter. We all try to establish ourselves and prove to ourselves that we're worthy and that we are these great things that accomplish amazing feats, and that's true. But the monetary gain and things that we pursue so heavily in our lives, later when you're on your deathbed or in your big mansion by yourself, that stuff isn't as important. The most important things that we have are our relationships and our experiences. And, in a way, even those don't necessarily matter. But, I mean, I don't know if you're religious or whoever's watching this, but, existential meaning is something that's different for all of us. And for me, I don't really believe in too much else. So, in a way, it's a little scary thinking like, oh, nothing matters at all. In fact, I had this conversation with someone last night about the lack of existential meaning or the lack of true right and wrong or absolute right and wrong. And I was saying that there wasn't. It's all subjective or perspective. And they're like, well, then what's the point of ever making a decision? Well, without that big, giant, clumsy existential meaning, you're left with nothing means anything. But in that sense, the things that mean importance to you, that are important to you, that you care about, mean everything, because that's your universe and that's your world. Anyway, I just really love the fact that Jim Carrey has gotten to a place. He's one of the Hollywood elite, and he's super successful, and yet he turns around and he's finally one of the only ones that says this isn't what it's all about. And I really like that, because we don't have enough role models and examples, saying that kind of stuff. And we idolize people that value stuff and bullshit so much. And I think it causes a really bad ripple effect in the rest of society on all the people that are trying to get there. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with ambition. I have a lot of ambition. But we got to remember that we're very small and that we're just a little piece of a much bigger story. So anyway, was that enough on that question?
Okay, I have questions from my readers.
Yeah, all right. I got a few questions for you too.
What was it like reading about yourself?
Yeah, that one. Well, I mean, if you read the intro that I gave for the book, I guess the best way to say it is surreal. You know, when Heidi first reached out to me about this project, when you first reached out to me, I guess I'm talking to everyone at the same time. I'm just going to talk to you. Screw them. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, guys. When you first reached out to me, I wasn't really, I mean, I was doing a little bit of, like, I'd started doing photo shoots and a tiny bit of modeling in a very small way. I mean, shit, I would consider myself still doing modeling in a very small way. But it was all very new. The idea of being in front of a camera or being a point of someone's focus or I mean, not to sound like an asshole, but fantasy of someone's, you know, being on a cover of those books. I mean, that's kind of what we are, is our face becomes that. I mean, not us, but that photo becomes what someone's, you know, that's that character, right? And that thought was fucking wild to me, that someone would want to use my face or, you know, my image for that, let alone use me for inspiration in a story. So surreal and strange is the best way to describe how that felt. And then reading about it is like, you know, when I started to read the chapters that Heidi was finishing up, it was it's not really something that's easy to explain. I mean, for me, I don't know what you guys think looking at me through social media, but I'm not someone that thinks I'm, you know, need I should be in front of the camera or I should be famous. Like, I'm just a, you know, regular goofball like everybody else trying to do my best. And you know, this is a fantastic, amazing opportunity. And reading about it from that side of things was it was surreal, but also it's interesting in how you can see yourself from another perspective, right? You know, like listening to your voice through a recorded, like if I listen to this later, my voice will sound really dumb and weird because it's not coming out of my head, right? It'll be coming from somewhere else, and you're like, what is that? But it gives you a way to see yourself objectively, you know, without everything that's going on in your head. And the same thing for the book. It was actually very tremendous in helping me grow, at least the process of the whole thing. Pretty wild experience and weird to, well, I knew that it was just a character, but knowing also that the character was designed around me or inspired by me, like I could see the things that were from me. I could see the anecdotes, the stories, the character traits or the mannerisms and things that, you know, Remington does. And it's like, well,